his daddy laid down and just wished he were dying. But in the quiet of their hearts, a little voice sighed, it's not how long you stay, it's how much love you leave behind. The letting go, that's the key. The letting go will set you free. The tighter you hold on, the harder it goes. The more you let go, the tighter you hold on, the harder it goes. The more you let go, the easier it flows.
I wake up in a world where night is falling, but I'm not afraid of the dark. I walk not alone through the valley of the shadow, for love is alive in my heart. Love is alive in my heart. Love is alive. Love is alive. Love is alive in my heart. Love is alive. Love is alive. Love is alive in my heart. Ooh, ooh, We meet in the middle and out beyond the edges, under a canopy of stars. We live in the love that holds us together, and we are not afraid of the dark. We are not afraid of the dark. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid of the dark. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid of the dark. I wake up in a world where night is falling, but I'm not afraid of the dark. I walk not alone through the valley of the shadow, for love is alive in my heart. Love is alive in my heart. Love is alive. Love is alive. Love la montaña sagrada, al mar, madre, tocando y bendiciendo toda vida en su camino. La madre tierra hermosa, la madre tierra generosa, la madre tierra milagrosa. La nación de las piedras, que son más antiguos, son ancestros. Si escuchas, ellos te dirán, son guardianes de la sabiduría antigua. La madre tierra hermosa, la madre tierra generosa, la madre tierra milagrosa. Nuestra madre y todas las benditas frutas que ella nos da. Y con tu vida puedes dar las bendiciones de vuelta. Nuestra madre y todas las benditas frutas que ella nos da. Y con tu vida puedes dar las bendiciones de vuelta. Los árboles, seres que viven de la tierra al sol, limpiando el aire que respiramos. Las plantas, nuestros maestros benditos, que nos dan medicamentos para curarnos. La madre tierra hermosa, la madre tierra generosa, la madre tierra milagrosa. La madre tierra hermosa, la madre tierra generosa, la madre tierra milagrosa. Nuestra madre y todos los regalos que ella nos da. Y con tu vida puedes dar las bendiciones de vuelta. Nuestra madre y todos los regalos que ella nos da. Con tu vida lo que puedes dar para cuidarte. Nuestra madre y todos los regalos que ella nos da. Con tu vida lo que puedes dar.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Whether you're in the sanctuary or watching us at home or somewhere in the world, we're excited to be with you on this last Sunday in March. We're even more excited to have Boulder's own Lisa Bell in the house. Ow! Woo!
2, 1, 2.
They say the only way to get somewhere is working hard as anyone, anywhere. But if I let that doubt come storming in, it's gonna stop before it begins. Life is overflowing, so brand new. But just remember to enjoy
Thank you.
Lisa Bell, that's Chris Carvalho sitting in. And with that, we say welcome to Columbine Spiritual Center. We're centered in God. We celebrate a world of harmony, peace, and abundance for all. We love you to stand up and join us while we sing about the goodness, and we remind ourselves that all is well. 1, 2, 3. What a wonderful morning, beyond compare. I feel God's loving presence everywhere. I am filled with joy profound in a world where many miracles abound. In the garden of my soul, I am happy, healed, and whole. I know that God is good and all is well. In the garden of my soul, I am happy, healed, and whole. I know that God is good and all is well. What a wonderful feeling to finally know love is mine wherever I may go. To see the world with open mind, to believe that grace is here and life is kind. In the garden of my soul, I am happy, healed, and whole. I know that God is good and all is well. In the garden of my soul, I am happy, healed, and whole. I know that God is good and all is well. Well, all is well. 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 It's one of those mornings when we programmed our music for today, of course. We had no idea what was coming down yesterday in the NCAR fires. But it just seems like we need this reminder right now. We let it. We let the love wash over us. Yes, you sound great. We let it be. Let the love. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. Let the joy. We let the joy wash over us. We let it be. The joy. We let the joy wash over us. We let it be. Let the peace wash over us. We let Thank you for singing with us. Please be seated. We'd like to slow our breathing now, quiet our minds and our hearts in preparation for prayer and meditation. All is well, all is well, all is well in my world. All is well, all is well, all is well in my world. For we are surrounded by God's eternal light. All is well, all is well in my world. All is peace, all is peace, all is peace, all is peace in my world. All is peace, all is peace, all is peace in my world. For we are protected by God's almighty love. All is peace, all is peace in my world.
Today's the 57th day of a season for nonviolence, just another week or so. And today's word is service. The quote comes from Albert Schweitzer, who says, "The only ones among you who will be really happy are those who have sought and found how to serve." And the affirmation for today is, being useful to others without seeking anything in return is the essence of what is known as seva, or selfless service. Today, I make myself happy by doing some form of seva. So we take a deep breath together, holding that thought of service, of serving each other, of serving our highest good, of serving the divine guidance that is coming to us, that we are always receiving that guidance. And we take another deep breath. And we hold in our thoughts, in our prayers, everyone who had to evacuate their homes yet again in Boulder County yesterday, for the first responders who are containing the fires, the NCAR fire, for all those affected, all those feeling the rawness of such another fire so soon. For those in Ukraine, suffering the effects of the war there, for the Russian people, for those who have been displaced, for the millions who have left Ukraine, and for those who have opened their hearts and their homes. to those Ukrainians. We know that God is in the presence, in the midst of all this going on in our world. We know that Spirit is here with us now, that Spirit is within us, that Spirit is the calm in the midst of this storm. And whatever storms that are going on in our lives, that Spirit is here. Spirit is with us. Spirit is us. And so, sweet Spirit, we are grateful for however long we can stay in that place of knowing. Stay awake to it. We hold this as well for everyone on our prayer list, every prayer request in our prayer box, all the circumstances that they are facing, that Spirit is with them. And so I invite you into a time of meditation with me, a time where we align ourselves with that knowing, with that spiritual essence of each of us as we rest in the silence.
This goes out to all of the people who had to evacuate twice. So those who lost everything in the Marshall Fire and then had to leave again yesterday, how scary that must have been. And for all the people in the Ukraine experiencing something that none of us can imagine at the moment. This is Take Me to the Other Side. In my imagination, I've traveled far beyond my fear. The vision needs no explanation. shimmers brightly through my tears. In the mind's eye of creation, I am whole and I am free. But in the flows of isolation, I struggle to be me. Take me to the other side, to a place where I can't hide, to a time where I can be the change I see. Rock the boat of destiny and I am free. Looking past the desperation, deep inside my heart, I find there's fewer complications there to take apart. Rugged waters stepping faster, the channel calmly guiding me. I drift no more so I can master the life I want to see. Take me to the other side, to a place where I can't hide, to a time where I can be the change I see. Rock the boat of destiny and I am free. Help me cross the deep blue sea, where the waves of doubt can wash right over me, where the tides of change can take me on my way, past the breakers in the bay, and I'm okay. Every time I fight the pain, I see it coming through the rain, and I find myself again. Take me to the other side. Across the deep blue sea, where the waves of doubt can wash right over me, where the tides of change can take me on my way, past the breakers in the bay, and I'm okay. Take me on my way, past the breakers in the bay, and I'm okay.
Lisa Bell, everyone.
Thank you.
Larry Thompson, Dan Steelman.
Thank you, Lisa. Thanks for being here. Larry, Dan, Janice, of course, our music team. There was a king that was going to offer a prize for an artist who could paint a picture that best depicted peace. And so paintings came from all over the place, and most people agreed that the one that looked most like peace was this picture of the mountains with a beautiful lake in front of it, and everything was still, and there was sunny skies, a few clouds in the air. But that's not the painting that won. And when people found out what painting won, they were shocked because the painting was in this stormy scene, again with mountains, but there was lightning in the sky and dark clouds and waves on the lake and wind. You could tell that it was windy. But if you looked real closely, in the rocks was a tree coming out. And in that tree was a nest. And in the nest was a mother bird feeding her baby. And he said she depicted peace. That painting depicted peace because that bird represented the peace within the storm. That it's easy to be peaceful when everything's going well. It's easy to be calm and still when things are going well, but when things are stormy, it's not as easy. It's much easier to be stormy than at peace. And I share that story because today we're talking about Brene Brown's book, The Gifts of Imperfection, and we're on week 8 of a 10-week series on how to live a wholehearted life. A wholehearted living is all about engaging with life in a joyful way, in a fulfilling way. And this eighth guidepost is about cultivating calm and stillness and letting go of anxiety. I thought, oh, this is a good one for me. Letting go of anxiety. Brene Brown says she fought this. It's fun to read her chapters because each week she's really like, no, I didn't want this to be the case. I don't want to have to do this. I don't want to have to meditate. I don't want to have to be calm. I'm good at anxiety. But she realizes that from her research that people who live a wholehearted life are spiritual people. They've learned how to practice being calm and practice being still. And they have a contemplative practice in their lives that helps them do this. She talks about calm. She says calm is creating perspective and mindfulness while managing emotional reactivity. Most of us have been in that situation, emotional reactivity. Things happen and we react and there's angst and but calm, if we practice, when something then happens, we can calm ourselves down. She says freaking out never helps.
Amen.
Yeah. But how many times do we freak out when something happens that we don't want to happen? And then she goes on to say stillness, about stillness. Stillness is not about focusing on nothingness. It's about creating a clearing. It's opening up an emotionally clutter-free space and allowing ourselves to feel and think and dream and question. So we want to open that space. We want to allow that space in our lives so that we can feel Spirit's presence, so we can know our own spiritual nature. This is important to practice because it doesn't just happen. It never just happens. But if we have a regular practice, then when something happens that could cause us a lot of angst, we're more able to handle it calmly, quietly. So have some type of contemplative practice in our lives. We can practice awareness, just being aware of our surroundings, being aware of what's around us. We can practice mindful breathing. That can calm us down. taking deep breaths, counting before we say something. And practice mindfulness in everything that we do. Notice you're chewing when you're eating. Notice the flavors, the textures. How many people eat in front of the TV? I do. That's not mindful eating. Both take practice. I love, Pema Chodron talks about in her book, When Things Fall Apart, that when you're in Nepal, at night, the dogs are always barking. It's like relentless. The dogs are always barking. And then she said, about every 20 minutes, they stop. They all stop. And it's quiet. And it's calm. And she said, and there's this sense of, and then they start up again. And she compares that to starting a meditation practice. That when you first start a meditation practice, the dogs are always barking. But if you stick with it, you eventually start having some gaps of quiet, of calm. It's really important to have a contemplative practice in your life. Connecting with that inner calm, creating that space. I love when we talk about at Christmas Eve, there's no room at the inn. There's no room in the inn when your mind is filled with chatter. It's creating that space, that spaciousness. In the book of the Gospel according to Mark in chapter 4, there's a story about Jesus getting into a boat with his disciples. And he goes to the back of the boat and promptly falls asleep. And as he's sleeping, a storm picks up on the water and the waves are crashing against the boat and water's filling the boat, and his disciples are getting really fearful, and they wake him up and say, Master, won't wake up. Don't you worry about us? Aren't you scared for our lives? And he just looks at the waves and the storm and says, Peace, be still. And the waves calm and everything's fine. And he says, Oh, you of little faith. And of course, the apostles say to him, I forget. What did they say to him? Who is this person? Who is this person who even the waves listen to him? I love that story because it's not about the literal story. Now, did that happen? Who knows? Did it happen like that? I don't know. But metaphysically, what it means to us. We often have storms in our lives. We often have waves crashing, and we're often flooded with our fears. And we need to take dominion of our thoughts, take dominion of our minds, of our consciousness, saying, Peace, be still. That we always have within us that Christ nature, that divine nature that is calm. No matter what's going on around us, no matter what storms or what chaos or what we might be facing in our lives, there's always that calm within us. This is where it helps to have a practice. Calm. I know in my life this week, it's been really windy this week, right? And when I go for a run, I get really angry at the wind. Like, it should be good because I'm probably burning more calories against the wind with resistance. But I get angry, and I have done this. I did it twice this week, where I just yell out, Peace, be still. The wind doesn't stop for me. I'm not Jesus. But what it does is in my mind, it brings me to a different place in my mind. I can't control the weather. I can't control the wind. But I can control how I react to it. I can control what I think about it. Just like any other conditions in my life, I can control how I think about them. That's one of Unity's principles, that we don't change necessarily the outer conditions of our worlds, but we change how we experience them with our thoughts. Scott's retiring in a couple months, and I'll be speaking more. And this week, as I'm thinking about, what am I going to say? Calm. It's kind of a boring topic, but I was in this place of feeling anxious, anxiety, thinking, this is going to be most of my weekends starting in June. Most of my weekends, I'm going to have this. And then I read in Brené Brown's book about that, maybe it was somewhere else, it just caught me that anxiety is projecting your fear onto the future. We don't know what the future's going to bring. We never know what the future's going to bring. What if it's ease and calm? What if it's fun? What if it's playful? Scott talked about playful last week. What if it's playful? What if on the other side there's this, what if preparing talks for me just became easy? That's a possibility. Out of all realms of possibilities, that's a possibility. I'm going to hold that one. That's on my vision statement for Prosperity Plus, by the way. And I'm pretty good at manifesting my visions, right? It's really interesting how we can let ourselves get there so easily, so easy, right, to get to a place of anxiety, a place of, I don't know. But have a practice that helps calm yourself down. It's so important in your life. Whatever it is for you, for me, it's meditation, it's journaling, it's running, walking, whatever it is for you. There's a Olympic British diver, Tom Daley. Anybody heard of him? He was a gold medalist in the 2021 Olympics, and he's as well known for diving as he is for knitting. And he would knit in between his races or his dives, and he said that calmed him down. Knitting calmed him down. He says, knitting is my way of finding calm, mindfulness, and relieving stress. And he knits things and then donates them and gives them money to charity, or sells them, gives them money for charity, which I think is beautiful. He found his way of being calm. We all have our own ways of being calm, or finding that calm. Be that calm within the storm, of allowing ourselves to be that calm. We can all do that. Kevin and I watched a movie on Friday called The Cokeville Miracles. Anybody see it? It came out in 2015. We just saw it for the first time on Friday, but it's about a true story that happened in 1986 of David and Doris Young, who go to Cokeville, Wyoming, with a homemade bomb and lots of weapons, guns, to an elementary school. And I won't give it away because I think it was a good movie. I would recommend watching it. When we watched the trailer and it said your most terrifying thing that could happen, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to watch this. But so while they were in the midst of this terrifying thing happening at the elementary school, you see the children praying together, calming themselves down. You see the parents get off the phone hearing what's happening, and before they go to the school, they kneel down and pray. Now, they may be praying to some God out there, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. That's what calms them down. It can be God out there, if that's where God is for you. It can be God inside, within us, the Spirit, the essence. But they all found a way to calm themselves in the midst of this horrific thing that was happening. True story. I'd recommend watching. I'm not going to give it away because I don't think you want to know ahead of time what happens. Sorry, not going to tell you. So are you willing to practice some type of something contemplative? Are you willing to allow yourself to be the calm in the storm? It's a much better way to live instead of freaking out. In my spiritual directions program, this past semester, I just finished a contemplative practices class. So we had 8 weeks of different contemplative practices. And then I start another one in April, right after Easter, contemplative practices 2. I don't know what that's going to bring, but I shared the welcoming prayer at the burning bowl, and I shared Lectio Divina at the meditation service we did on Tuesday, and I want to share another one with you today. I want to lead you through a guided meditation. I'm going to ask Janice to come up to help set the tone for it. And this one is called Examine, the Examine prayer. This is a prayer that is typically done at the end of the day, just before you go to sleep in bed, where you're looking at your day. You're looking at the events of the day. You're looking at how you felt during the day. You're recognizing Spirit's presence in your day. Now, it can be done any time of day. It could be a lunchtime examine. Today, we're going to look at it from the last week, things that went on in the last week. And so we want to examine the feelings that we held this week. And what is Spirit's message maybe in those feelings? And so I invite you to now to gently close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths. As we breathe slowly, our heart rate drops. Our anxiety level slows down. We can come to that place of knowing more fully that we are the flow of life, that life is flowing through us. Breathe deeply. Come to a place of peace. Be still. Stilling all those thoughts that might be going through your head, scrolling through like a ticker tape. Just allow yourself to relax. Allow yourself to be the calm in the storm. No matter what's going on in your life. Just rest in knowing you are in the presence of Spirit. You are in love's presence. It's all around you. It's within you. It is you. Take a couple more deep breaths. Now take a moment to remember the events of your life this past week. What is the best thing that happened this week in your life? Could be something big or something small, doesn't matter. Remember that moment and experience it all over again. Thank life for this moment. Now shine a light on that moment. Shine a light so that when you look back on it, you can see how Spirit was present in that moment. Spirit was there. Now looking back over your week, how did you feel in things that happened? Notice which feelings really stand out for you from this past week. It could be anything. It could be joy, it could be anger, isolation, jealousy, powerlessness, gratitude. It could be anything. Maybe it was a difficult week for you. Maybe it was an easy week. Now, wherever you can, feel gratitude. Allow yourself to feel grateful. Thank Spirit. Thank the deepest part of yourself for this feeling. For an awareness that all is well. And where you feel you may not have lived up to your highest potential, forgive yourself. It's okay. Life's a journey, and we're not always going to express from our highest selves. Instead, we can ask ourselves, what might be the lesson in that experience? What new direction might Spirit be calling you to go? What is longing from your heart? What is one thing you need to ask of Spirit within to strengthen you? To express yourself from a place of love in this coming week. How can you be the calm in the storm this week? No matter how high the waves, how rocky the boat, how strong the wind, how flooded your mind gets with fears, you can be the calm. The Christ within you is your center, your calm. Carry it with you as you go forth this week. Now I invite you to come back into this room, this time and place. Gently open your eyes when you're ready. And I want to just close with a quote from Nan Merrill in her book, Psalms for Praying. This is the end of Psalm 34, and I love her translation of the Psalms. She says, "Though we are beset with many fears that cause is illness and troubles, the Beloved is ever ready to comfort us in our sorrows, to strengthen us on our soul's journey to wholeness. The Beloved renews the life of all who surrender to love." Namaste. Peace be with you.
going to give a shameless plug for Lisa. Lisa's back out there in the world performing. She'll be at the Trident Cafe next Saturday. That's downtown Boulder. Larry and Dan will be with her, as well as Eric Moon. And her set goes from 6 to 8. And I know some of you know that Something Underground is playing that same night at Soil Dove. We're doing both. So we'll see Lisa at 6, and then we'll head on down to Denver. So consider doing that.
Thank you. This is a fun tune. Janice and I, we decided we wrote this 7 years ago.
Crazy.
But quite appropriate today.
Infinite and absolute, unfailing in your grace, omnipotent, unlimited, throughout all time and space, lavishly abundant with your blessings and your love, providing every substance from below and from above. When I let my heart shine through, I feel the essence of you. Heart shine through, I breathe the essence of you. Heart shine through, I am the essence,
Reaching even further than we ever dared conceive. Boundless in potential, standing ready to receive. Quiet whisper strengthens me from somewhere deep within. To ask for all this goodness and the courage to begin.
when I let my heart shine through. I feel the essence of you. Heart shine through,
I breathe the essence of you.
heart shine through. I am the essence, divine love that grows to flow to me. Bless me, bless and multiply all that I see. Lifts my mind and frees my very soul. Helps me learn to manifest every dream and goal. Take it down. I'm grateful every moment for my source and my supply.
Conscious of the light within, too brilliant to deny.
Forgiveness brings me freedom from my stories of the past.
Opens up the universe to claim what's my last.
Gonna let my heart shine through. Come on, y'all. Heart shine through. Gonna let my heart shine through. Heart shine through. Shine, shine, shine. Heart shine through. Heart shine through. I feel the essence of you. Heart shine through.
I breathe the essence of you.
Heart shine through. I am the essence of you. Heart shine through. Ooh, I feel the essence of you. Heart shine through.
I breathe the essence of you.
Heart shine through. I am the essence. Lisa Bell, thank you so much.
Janice Kelly. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa and Janice. Feeling the essence of you. So this is the time in our service where we gladly receive your generosity, your love offerings back to us. If you're anything like me, there's many ways to give, including right on the screen is the text to give number. If you're anything like me, if you don't do it soon, you're going to forget. So those of you that are here in person, you're lucky. We're reminding you right now. And those of you that are online who we also love and embrace, we appreciate your generosity. We have an offertory blessing that we like to say every Sunday. It's a great reminder of our relationship with the universe and this whole generosity that is life. We'll say it together. God's love has always met and will always meet all my needs. I give freely, I receive abundantly, and I am grateful. And so it is. And while the ushers are receiving your love offering, I'd like to walk you through a little bit of community news. Let's start out with our website. We're really become website-based here, and so invite you to go to our website if you'd like to be more involved with our community. You can sign up there to receive the 2 emails that we put out a week, including our digital bulletin, what comes out on Sunday morning. We'd love to have you be a part of that. For those of you that are new to us today, and maybe not your first, ready to maybe meet us, Sue and I and Ann would love to meet you, so just approach us during fellowship and let's get to know each other. Tulips. For Easter, we decorate this stage with tulips, and we ask you to buy a potted tulip, but we actually buy them for you if you'll just give us the moolah. You can dedicate them to someone, and then on Easter Sunday, you come up and pick the potted tulip that you'd like to have and take home. They're $13 this year, and we need you to sign up again. You sign up online, but we need you to sign up and pay by the 5th of April. Holy Thursday, so we're getting close to Easter week, and we do communion on the Thursday before Easter. It's often called Maundy Thursday or Holy Thursday. It's the one time a year where we do communion. Sweet little service. We form a circle here in the sanctuary. Love to have you be a part of it. This year it's a little bit later. We're doing it at 7 o'clock, and the date that day is the 14th. And then we have Easter services on the 17th. It's going to be a really fun day. We're going to do our usual service at 10 o'clock. Feel free to pack the house. We're going to have overflow out in Fellowship Hall with our new big screen, so we can handle, 400 of you. Come on in.
Ow!
Right after service, the kids get to do an Easter egg hug. That goes really quick, you can imagine. At the same time, those of us who are not involved in that, several men in the community are throwing a brunch for us. The recommended love offering for that is $10. Again, we're like a broken record up here. We really invite you to sign up so that the men know how many people they're cooking for. Save the dates. There's a couple of things coming up. So a truly incredible film has come out called This Is Not Who We Are. It's about discrimination against people of color in the city of Boulder. Very interesting, not necessarily easy to watch, but important information for us to know. So we're making it an event. It's going to start out with a pasta dinner at 6 o'clock. The movie will be shown at 7 here in the sanctuary. Recommended love offering, $15 for the pasta dinner. We'll have an open bar, or not an open bar, a cash bar.
That would be a different kind of movie.
It is kind of our kind of
This
an
is who we
event.
are.
We like our events, don't we? Our annual meeting is that same weekend. It's on Sunday morning for those of you that are voting members, but everyone can come, but those of you who are voting members, we really love to have you there. That will be after the service, and there's a meal in between that, too.
Yep, by the YFM. Yep.
Yeah, so we're keeping you well fed this spring. And what's the last thing? Oh, my retirement party. So that's on the 21st. That's a Saturday evening, and everyone is invited. So please come to that. That amazing.
Will there be a
Of
dunk
course, there's
tank
going to be
that night?
food, right? But it's a free event, so we'd love to have you be there.
Scott, that we heard a rumor that there's going to be a dunk tank that night, and you'll be on it.
Okay,
$50 a ball.
$50. I think it should be $500. let's talk about the strategic plan for a moment. So we've come a long way in the strategic plan. We have got it down to initiatives now, that goals that we're really working to achieve. We've identified 10, thanks to a powerful process that we've been through. And Sue and I got together and we narrowed it down to 5. One of them involves our youth and family program, which Jeannie is already running with. So there's 4 more. I just want to give you the flavor of them because we really need your involvement. We need your participation in this, or it's really not going to work. So one of the main things that we heard over and over again was, we'd like to hear about different faiths and how unity relates to those faiths, how they approach spirituality. And so we would like a team to come together to identify those communities that we'd like to hear from, to maybe even go so far as to identify guest speakers that we could bring in, and how we could network with those communities. Not just touch them, like, oh, what are you about? But begin to build bridges that maybe would model for the world how we could build more bridges. So if that's interesting, to you, that's one of the teams that you could sign up for. Another one is, we've heard that you want a more robust offering of classes. So we'd like a team to come together to not only help us identify those classes, but what is the format of those classes that would make them easier for people to take? The old school, we did 6 and 7 weeks. We did them in the evening. Sometimes that didn't work for everybody. So how can we reformat? How can we approach class love offerings class offerings, and what would be good subjects to be offering? So again, if that's interesting to you, consider being on that team. We know that we need to create diversity in our community, diversity in age, diversity in sexual orientation, in color. So one of the things that I learned when I was on the Unity World Headquarters Board is you need to really identify who do you want? Because if you say, well, we just want everybody, you're not going to be able to focus, because with each group, you need to identify, okay, how do we speak to that group? What kind of languaging do they use? How do we incorporate elements of what they like into our service and how we present things? And so we're asking a team to come together to first identify who would be 1 or 2 groups for us to start with. And then what do we do? How do we begin to attract them? And then finally, we want to improve the quality and consistency of our live stream. So if you're a techie, which that rules me out, our live stream has been not as consistent as we'd like. Quality of it has come up a long ways, but there's always more. And it is the frontier of spiritual work in the future. We're seeing that. So if that's something that's interesting, what are we asking of you if you join one of these teams? We're not asking you for a 10-year commitment. So we can breathe, right? We can relax into ourselves. We're asking the team to give us an action plan, to tell us if there's any staff or budgetary needs for what we're going to do, give us a timetable, and then to report back to the board as progress is made through these things. You can approach Sue, you can approach me, you can approach Anne. Any of us would love to hear from you. If you even want to just talk about, what does this involve? I'm not sure I'm the person. We can help you with that. All right, take another deep breath. Because who is our prayer chaplain today? Hey, it's Lydia. Lydia, which side do you like? Oh, Lydia likes the back corner. So she's going to pull a chair up in front of her, and she's here to pray with you. And it will be magnificent. Not to set any standards, but Lydia knows how to pray and to hold your confidence and to really, what were the words of the song?
To let your heart shine through.
She'll let her heart shine through to you. Let's stand and sing the peace song.
Let there of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. We love you.
Some